or really cheap places to camp and to live. We've talked extensively about different places where you can go for nothing. You can camp year-round for nothing. Some you have to move frequently, such as dispersed camping. Some you can stay for long periods of time. Slab City, you can live there forever. In the LTVAs, it's $180, but you can stay there for 7 months out of the year. The New Mexico State Parks, which I love, is $225, but you get the entire year. So there are lots of places. Coyote House, $500 a year, $42 a month, and you've got a little piece of land that you're renting that's yours. One of the common problems, though, is they all have unpleasant weather, meaning most of them are in the desert, and in the Slab City is miserably hot in the summer. Coyote House, unbelievably hot in the summer. LTVA is unbelievably hot in the summer. On and on and on. They're almost all unpleasant part of the year. There are people that stay in those places year-round, but man, I can't imagine it being any fun. Now, the closest you get to a year-round climate is the New Mexico State Parks. You have to move around every 2 weeks, generally, 14 days, you have to move to the next park or out of the campground. So at any rate, they're cold. Most of New Mexico is surprisingly cold. I think the lowest point in New Mexico is 3,000 feet, and that's cold in the winter. Most of the campgrounds are more than 3,000. They're 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. They're going to be quite cold in the winter. They're unpleasant. So most of the places I've told you about are really hot in the summer and unbearable. And a lot of the places, and that one place which is not hot and unbearable in the summer, it's very pleasant in the summer, in New Mexico State Parks, because they're high. A lot of them are 8, 9, 10,000 feet. You can get up to 10,000 feet, I believe. You can be very comfortable in New Mexico State Parks in the summer. So an ideal situation is go to the slabs. You could go to the slabs in the winter, where it stays pretty warm. It's one of the warmer places in the country in the winter. And then you could go to New Mexico. You'd pay your $225. You could be there 7 or 8 months easily out of the year, be comfortable, and you can move back and forth. Free, $225 a year, really good deal. But most of us don't do that. Most of us just travel and move around. But you can. That's a really good option for you. So the weather is a real driver and motivator. If you're living in a car or a van or an RV even, the temperature is really important. And if you're in a car or a van, it's incredibly important. If it's really hot, if it's really cold, you can't keep really hard to keep a car warm. If you're in really hot weather, it's nearly impossible to keep a car cool. You have to be outside. And so where can you go where being outside is pleasant year-round? Basically, my recommendation is that you disperse camp and you follow a schedule. And that's one of the questions I get a lot. What's a schedule? Where are people? Where's the tribe? Where's all the other nomads? I want to go see people and visit with them, but I don't know where they are. Where can I go and see people? So a schedule, and that's what this video is, where you can find us when. Now, it's going to mostly be confined to the western states because I know them, and I want to talk about what I know. I don't want to speculate. I have been in the eastern states. There is boondocking in the eastern states. You can camp for free. It's really hard to be a snowbird and find good weather year-round. What's a snowbird? Let me just define that. Either way, east or west, snowbird's the same thing. Snowbirds are migratory. They move with the weather. When it's cold, they go south. When it's hot, they go north. Really simple. Now, we will do that north and south, but more likely, a nomadic snowbird is going to go up and down. Elevation is a much better determiner of temperature than latitude. Latitude means all the way south at the tip of Florida versus all the way north at Point Barrow, Alaska. But that's not a good determiner. Great Falls, Montana is pretty far north in the United States, and it's hot. I've been there when it was 100 degrees, and so I'm not going to Great Falls because it's cool. I'd have driven a long way out of my way just to be hot. And so north-south does not really determine temperature. What determines temperature is elevation. You go up towards the sky by driving up in the mountains, or down towards sea level by driving down out of the mountains. So a snowbird, my recommendation to all of you is to be out west where you can drive up really high. I am just outside of Leadville, Colorado. I am standing at 10,400 feet. I am 2 miles above sea level. And it is cool here all summer. If the sun gets intense, the higher you get, the more intense the sun is. If you're standing out in the sun, in fact, right now, the sun has some intensity and it's August 28th. I can feel the heat from the sun on my skin. But if I step into the shade, it's completely cool. There's not even the slightest hint of heat. And overnight now, today it's probably going to get up into maybe 70. It might hit 70 today. More likely it'll be in the middle 60s in August in Colorado at 10,000 feet. So it's cool here. I was a campground host one year here in, this was my campground, in fact. I came here every day and cleaned it. That's how come I know this place so well. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be in the summer because you go up in elevation 2 miles above sea level, as opposed to Yuma, which is below, Yuma, Arizona, which is very, very extraordinarily hot in the summer, is actually at sea level. I believe it might be below sea level. So if you go up 2 miles, I guarantee you, you will be cooler. It's a formula. It's not hocus pocus or magic. There's a formula, a scientific physics formula that says for every 1,000 feet you go up in elevation, you lose about 3.5 degrees in temperature. We all know that. If you go up to where the air jetliners are at 31,000 feet, it's super cold. You go all the way up into outer space, it's absolute zero, as cold as anything can be. So the further you get away from the surface, sea level, the colder the planet gets. So by going up in elevation, climbing into the mountains, you get cool. And what else do you get in the mountains? You get views like that. That's what you get. So I would come here for that view. That's enough reason for me to be in Colorado. But the fact that at 10,000 feet, I can get cool and really pleasant. Now it's cold at night. It's dropping not too far from the 30s. It's into the 30s, very high 30s. It's probably 39 degrees last night. I pulled on a couple of extra blankets and I slept as well as I've ever slept. I woke up, by then the sun had done some warming and it was very pleasant. This is perfect weather. The weather could not be any more perfect. Now, one of the things for most of you to be aware of is it's harder to breathe at 10,000 feet. It just simply is. And I don't have any breathing issues, so it's never been a problem for me. But in my time as a campground host, I spent 6 months up here, dealt with a lot of people directly every day. A number of them did. If they were older, if they had any kind of lung issues or breathing issues or heart issues, 10,000 feet was hard. But if you go down to 8,000, 7,000 to 8,000, it will be much warmer. It will be into the mid 80s. It could even hit 90. At 7,000 feet, it will hit 90 degrees. 90 degrees is still a whole lot better than 100. And you can get in the shade. Look around, there's trees everywhere here. I can walk over and stand in the shade in 3 steps, 3 long steps, and I'm standing in the shade and I'm completely comfortable. So going up into the mountains is the key to being a snowbird. And the problem with back east is there's nowhere high enough. The highest mountain back east is 6,000 feet some odd. There's a 6,000 footer in North Carolina and one, I believe, in New Hampshire, but I'm not sure of that. At any rate, the highest mountain back east of the Rockies is 6,000 feet, and you're not going to camp on the top of that mountain. So about the best you can do is 4,000 or 5,000 feet to camp, and there's very little of that, and there's a lot of competition for it, and a lot of it isn't available. The place is so crowded, you just can't climb into elevation and get cool back east. That's why I'm not recommending it to you. I know, we found it's hard to find free camping back east in Tennessee, North Carolina, but we did. I was camping with my friend Carolyn, and she's excellent at finding boondocking, much better than I am. And she frequently found really great campsites, but heat was always a constant issue. So the key to being a snowbird is the elevation, and you can do that very easily back west. Places over 8,000 feet to camp on are available in every state, in every national forest, virtually. Arizona has numerous places at 7,000 and above. Utah, Oregon has less. Oregon is not a high state, but there are places where you can camp and be comfortable. I've found them. Washington's easy, Idaho's easy, Montana's easy, Wyoming's easy. California's very easy. You got the Sierras and the Cascades. So our schedule, where most of us are snowbirds, we travel with the weather to stay comfortable. Well, most of us are acting in harmony with the planet and moving with it. If the planet says it's too hot here, go away, we move. If the planet says it's too cold here, don't be here, go away, we cooperate. We live in harmony with nature. We aren't battling nature and fighting it and I'm going to stay warm no matter what you want. I'm going to stay cool no matter what you want. We're not fighting nature. We are in love with nature and cooperating with it, and we're doing what it asks us to do. It asks us to move and let the land rest under the heat. Let the land rest under the cold and the snow. The land needs rest from the constant activity of its creatures. It loves its creatures, but it needs to rest. We need to sleep and rest. The land needs to sleep and rest. So we cooperate with nature. We adore nature, we live with it, and we say, we will live in harmony with you. And by doing so, we try to say we will live in harmony with each other. That's why we are a tribe. And when I come across a tribe member who needs help, I give that person help, because we are trying to live in cooperation with life. And instead of fighting it, we're saying, I will live in harmony with you. I am connected to you. We are a joint group, and we will live in harmony with the earth and with each other. So that is what we are doing as snowbirds. So that is the first step, understanding that we move, we have a schedule, and it's basically following elevation. We go up with the heat, we go down with the cold. And the best two places to do that are Arizona and California. They have lots of high country and lots of low desert. So in both Arizona and California, you can be in very low desert, stay warm, and then in just 300-400 miles away at the most, you can be up at 7, 8, 9, 10,000 feet and then be comfortable. And I'll tell you about all the places we go in the 4 seasons. I'm going to do a video on each season, and I'll tell you where we go then. And so you will have a schedule for the entire year of where you will find other van dwellers. So this is just the introduction. This is just the introduction. This is what a snowbird is. This is how we do it. And so I think that will give you an idea of the scheduling that we're going to see. Then we'll go through each season and tell you where you might go. So I hope you got something out of this video, and if you did, I hope you'll like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. There's lots more where this came from. Man, whatever else I am in life, I am prolific. I'm a hard worker. So I'm pumping these things out. I'm trying to putting out 3 a week, and if that gets too hard, I might drop down to 2 a week eventually. So subscribe to the channel and you'll get notifications when I put out a video. In the meantime, follow your dreams. Don't settle for a mediocre life of drudgery, of living in the rat race and being a rat. You know what? Even if you win the rat race, and I know some of you are out there winning the rat race and are very happy with your success. If you win the rat race, you're still a rat. You're still in that wheel. You're still making someone else rich. And while most of you are living check to check and barely surviving, making someone else rich, that's not the life I chose to live. And so now I live here like this. So follow your dreams. Don't settle for a mediocre, barely surviving life. Don't settle for that. In the meantime, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.